phenomenon of riding on the outside of trains came with the appearance of the first railways. Not actually with the first ancient system of railways from ancient Greece, but shortly after the first metal tracks and steam trains. At the beginning of the 1830s, only 40 miles of metal railway was built in the United States, but after the half of the 19th century and the end of the American Civil War, the length of railway tracks reached 30,000 miles. The number of high-speed trains continued to increase, hitting 164,000 miles by the end of 1890. Passenger trains were begging to be more crowded, and although seats were placed inside to ensure the safety of riders and prevent people from falling from a moving train, some still preferred to ride the train. People who had to travel distances to work were the first ones to surf on trains because the wage of a simple migrant blacksmith was $10 a week, and a train ticket costed about $1.30, so many individuals rode trains to avoid paying a ticket. That's how the nickname of hobos were created, the workers being one of the first to surf on trains. With the start of the 20th century, the era of trams and trains began to rise in many European and American cities. Trams were becoming overpopulated, so many people were riding on top of them due to the lack of seats inside. But because of all the issues with train hopping, railroad companies took measures to increase the capacity of seats, so overcrowding in many regions decreased. However, in some countries of Southeast Asia and Africa with a high population density, the problem continued, so the habit of train hopping also continued not only to persist but grew rapidly, train surfing becoming a widespread phenomenon. At the beginning of the 1980s, in South Africa, train surfing became something teenagers would perform to feel an adrenaline rush and to forget about their problems at home, most of them having issues with their parents or being very poor. It became some sort of lifestyle, attracting teenagers living near the railways into one place and doing something together and forgetting about everything and just taking part in this culture, or sport as some teens in South Africa who are considered masters at train riding like to call it. From the 1980s, the hobby grew rapidly in popularity. But like any other extreme sport, there are also injuries and deaths. Hundreds of individuals were and are being killed yearly doing stunts on top of trains, but many people around the world still like to do it because it is a way to express yourself, to relieve your anger, to see the view around, or just to feel good. Most of the train surfers who like to do stunts surf on slower trains like freight trains, which have an average speed of 40 miles an hour, but some people hop on high-speed passenger trains like the Sapsan, which is the fastest train in Russia, which can go as fast as 150 miles an hour. But how does a train surfer have to prepare before he goes on a journey like this? So firstly, a train hopper should find a train station where he's going to start. Like any other trip, train surfing has a starting point and an end point. The distance between the points can be as long as a few miles or hundreds of miles. Depending on the length, a train surfer should have water, food, and if the journey is too long, a sleeping bag is needed. Then, a train hopper should wait in the chosen train station for as long as he needs until a train is going in the right direction. If he has a certain type of two-way radio, he can intercept radio waves that can help him know when a train is coming to a station and what direction it's heading in. This kind of equipment is important because if he hops on a train and it goes the wrong direction, the train surfer is pretty much screwed and he has to get off at the next station and wait another few hours until another train will come into the station. On the other hand, the radio and batteries are pretty heavy, so that's a thing that can hold you back quite a bit. After many hours of waiting in the bushes near the railway, a train finally pops out and the train hopper gets on it, considering the train was moving slow enough and there were no workers nearby. After this, he needs to hide pretty well because at the ends of every station there are bridges from where security might be watching. If he gets out of the station and has not been seen, the train surfer will try and find a comfortable spot where he can wait and enjoy the journey. But if he has been seen by the end of the station, the police or the security might wait for him at the end of the station, and if he gets caught, he can be fined as little as $3 in Russia or up to $1,250 in the United Kingdom. Other issues that could disturb the journey are cameras that are set up near the stations and from where security will watch from the booth. Also, a train surfer who does stunts on top of the train can be seen by the conductor or if any trains pass by. Train surfing gets more dangerous if you want it to get more dangerous. For example, if you only want to travel without a ticket in countries where train hopping is tolerated, that is still risky but not extremely dangerous, because the trains move slower there and there's little to no risk of getting electrocuted. On the other hand, if you surf alone in a country where this is illegal, that gets much more dangerous. You can make a wrong step, get hit by a pole, get electrocuted, or if you surf on a diesel train, you can get asphyxiated when passing through a tunnel. All of these, plus the fact that you could be seen by security in the stations, can be a problem. If you want to perform stunts on top of the train, then only a fraction of lack of attention can end your life. In Asia, train surfing is still used to avoid overcrowding, but remains a hobby in other parts of the world, and its culture is growing rapidly now that anyone can post train surfing on the internet. Train surfers can use social networks to find and directly communicate with each other and organize trips by train in small groups. In countries where a big community of train surfers exists, they sometimes organize major events of riding on the outside of local trains, where dozens of riders participate and enjoy this extreme sport.